lighting's not good. The lighting is kind of shitty because, let me give it a few moments to build a little bit of an audience. I know it's late. I'm on Central Time, so it's not too late as you go farther west. But I'm at my cheap no-tell hotel. It's actually, the room is nice. The minute you step out the room, like, I realize I put on a short enough skirt, I can make some extra cash. Let's just put it that way. I'm surprised they don't charge by the hour. But one thing my donors know, that when I am traveling on donor funds, I'll sleep on the sidewalk if I have to. I am cheap because it's not my money. I'm not like the government. When I am using OPP, OPM, other people's money, I pinch every penny. And to all of my donors, of course, you can have access, just let me know, to my campaign transparency accounting sheet so you can see how I spend my money. And I don't charge everything to the campaign either. Now, I had a very ambitious campaign goal and I hit it yesterday, which is like unreal. Absolutely unreal. The fundraising experience this has given me for my public office campaigns and the future is wonderful. One thing I didn't anticipate when I set my campaign goal is that I would have a wonderful campaign manager, D.L. Cummings, who I also sent to a few conventions. So I am going to have to revise the goal upward to account for that. However, even if we don't hit the revised goal, I just cannot believe I hit the goal that I did hit. What I am still raising for, no travel. Any further travel that has to be done has to either be funded by somebody who would like to bring me out, or I don't go. All travel is taken care of. So all I am fundraising for now is convention supplies. So swag, flyers, promotional material. If you happen to own a print store or something like that and would like to donate that sort of thing, I would be more than willing to talk to you about that because that's what I'm raising for now. So I will be adjusting the fundraising goal upward, and that's all it is for. Everything else has been completely paid for. And I'm overwhelmed by the support of you guys. It is ungodly expensive to do a real officer LNC race, but it's great experience for public office. So before we get started on the topic, let me just do my grifting. It is the beginning of the month, and unfortunately, I'm down 25. Well, it's $22, but I'm just rounding up. I'm down $25 a month in patrons. All of the people were sure to tell me their financial situation changed. It wasn't any kind of unhappiness with the product, and that is so understandable. So here's my Patreon link. If you would like to bless me in that way, you can support me and help me get back to where we were in February. I would truly, truly appreciate it. All patrons get patron-only content, which is generally the book reviews and the book discussions that we do. And you get access to my private Discord server where I'm a little bit more up close and personal in my Discord server. So there's the link, patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. If you would like to help in the campaign materials we need for Reno, there is my, I'm just not speaking well now, I'm very tired. That's my campaign GoFundMe. If GoFundMe doesn't work for you, get in touch with me. I can give you Venmo, PayPal, or there's this Christian fundraising site. I think it's like Give, Go, Send or something that I can send you. I do log all donations at GoFundMe, even when they come at another source, so I can keep track of how much I raised. And lastly, This is something that benefits you, that benefits me, and benefits an independent designer. If you are as incensed with the Convention Oversight Committee as I am, with the way they defrauded, and it was fraud, there's just no other way to look at it. The way they defrauded people who put their money on the line for the theme of Liberty Unmasked and then completely changed the meeting and gave us a god-awful Phantom of the Opera community theater logo. There was an independent designer who took it upon himself to create an actually great logo. I would love to see people show up at convention sporting this independent libertarian designer's great logo. It doesn't have any campaign promotion for me on it. It's just a convention shirt, Liberty Unmasked. It comes in white, comes in black, and comes in dark, let's just say dark and light. And even though he said I didn't have to, I split all proceeds with him equally. And he's been very grateful. It's been selling very well. And so he got a surprise payment out of the blue. So you help me, you help him. So please do go to tinyurl.com/Pink Flame merch. You can find the Liberty Unmasked gear there. If there's a certain type of product with that logo on it that you would like that I don't have up, like a phone case or a mug or a towel, I'll add it for you. Right now, it's just t-shirts. I don't add things that I'm not so sure people want, but I've had people make special requests like for tank tops, and I did add it. So I will add anything you like, and take a look at the other t-shirts while you were there that are very campaign specific. Now let's get to the meat. There's going to be a lot of Massachusetts updates, a lot. So the LNC is great at getting appealed. So what's going on right now? None of this is secret. I don't tend to do things in secret. There's rare exception to that. And I know some people in Colorado will immediately, oh my God, Carlin, thank you. Thank you. I get emotional. Thank you so much for the very generous super chat. That will go towards my campaign fund. Thank you. You truly, truly have blessed me. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know some people in Colorado are going to immediately go, oh, you ran for secretary last time in secret. Yes, I did. I announced on the campaign floor, on the convention floor, rather than announcing in advance. That's very rare for me. And I'm very open about why I did that. Because last time when my husband ran for chair, his supporters got threatened. There was actually a person in Colorado who contacted my husband's supporters privately and said, if you do not withdraw your support, I will make up rumors about you and ruin your reputation. And I was not going to put people through that. And that is why I did not announce my candidacy for secretary of LPCO ahead of time last time I ran. I'm currently not secretary. My goal was just to fill that position for the remaining term, which was a year, find somebody good to take over, which happened. We've got a great new secretary, but that's why. But that's not normally my style. Normally, I'll tell you ahead of time what I'm about to do because I don't believe in Machiavellian bullshit. I just don't. So I'm telling you right now what's going on. We are writing the Massachusetts appeal. Actually, the Massachusetts appeal is written. Part 2 of it hasn't been. I'll be up all night writing it. Tomorrow, the DocuSign will be ready for members who wish to sign on to this appeal. Honestly, I do believe there's an automatic right of appeal. We do not want any chance of the Judicial Committee throwing this out for not having jurisdiction. So even though I do believe there is an automatic right of appeal, we are going to go the extra mile and submit it both as an automatic appeal and also as a member appeal. There are 2 routes for member appeal. And in looking at this, our bylaws are fantastically vague. Not that I expect this bylaws committee to fix it, but it's funny how you don't notice vagueness in bylaws until you actually have to try to follow them. So there are two ways to member appeal. One, 10% of delegates who were credentialed at the last convention. That seems easy enough, doesn't it? I mean, not easy enough. That seems clear enough. But think about it. It really isn't. There's all kinds of ambiguities there. What do you mean by credentialed? Do you mean credentialed at any time? Or do you mean those who were primary and not alternates who showed up? Or those who were always, I'm not wording that right. Those who were always primaries, even though they may have left and been swapped out for an alternate? Or do you mean somebody who was either a primary or an alternate? In which case, which 10% is it? Is it the 10% of the maximum number of delegates that we could have had, which I think was 1,402 in 2020? Or is it that number plus the swaps that happened for alternates? Do you see how that's not clear at all? So if you were to take the maximum possible number, there were 1,657 delegates plus alternates for 2020. 10% of that, 166. If you take the highest number, you take the lowest number, looking at 141. Or 1%, or the other route of member appeal is 1% of all of the sustaining members in the party. We presently have just under 17,000 sustaining members. That includes life members. So 1% of that's 170. So it's about the same number, but you have a much wider pool if you get to choose from 17,000 people rather than just 1,657. So we decided we're going to go the 1% of the sustaining member route. Now that seems clear, doesn't it? 1% of the sustaining members. On what date? On the date the decision you're appealing was rendered? Or on the date they signed the petition? You see how vague our bylaws are? I could argue both sides, but I come from a law background. I view bylaws as a contract between the party and the membership. And in contract law, because I'm a contract law paralegal, contracts are construed against the drafter. But who's the drafter? Is it the party or is it the membership? But it isn't really all of the membership. It's the membership at convention at a particular point in time. So it becomes very crazy. I would argue as a parliamentarian that it is the number that makes it the easiest for members to appeal, which would be the lower, which would mean on the day they sign the petition. I think. I could argue both ways. Luckily for us, the decision we're appealing just happened yesterday. So unless somebody's membership lapsed in the last 2 days, this isn't going to be an issue. Just as a parliamentarian, this fascinates me. So if you are a national dues payer, it doesn't matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to you, what side of this issue you fall on, whether or not you believe the board that Ashley Shade was formerly chair of is the legitimate board, or whether you believe the board elected by the members on February 26th is the legitimate board. It really doesn't matter to me at this point what side you fall on. All I'm asking you to agree with is that the LNC has to know who they're dealing with. They are not violating the autonomy of an affiliate to try to figure out who the chair is. They can't fulfill their duties to the affiliate without knowing who the chair is. And they're just being lazy with no backbone and trying to kick the can down the road. So that's the first appeal. The first appeal is the sustaining of Whitney's cowardly ruling needs to be overturned. And they need to hear this matter. They need to be leaders for once. I've never accused them of being leaders, but come on, be leaders for once. So if you are a bylaw sustaining member and you would like to sign on to that appeal, get in touch with me, either through DM or even in comments in this video, Twitter, wherever, or KarenAnnHarlos@gmail.com. once we have the DocuSign set up, I'll get your signature. But we're also preparing the other appeal, anticipating that we will win the first one because it's a no-brainer. Right now, the LNC is dropping its drawers and mooning the Judicial Committee, and you should find that highly offensive as a member. You don't have to agree with the Judicial Committee. In fact, I deeply know the pain of thinking the Judicial Committee has made an awful decision. They were wrong on my appeal. But I'm sorry, that's the contract I agreed to. My recourse now is Reno. Now the LNC doesn't agree with the JC appeal. Cry me a river. I know how that feels. Your recourse is Reno. You're not above your bylaws. And the bylaw says the buck stops with the JC, whether you like it or not, Whitney, whether you like it or not, Richard Longstreth, whether you like it or not, Aaron, John Phillips, Chris Lucchini, whoever you may be. You're not above the JC. Deal with it, Buttercup. I have. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be me. So what they're doing is mooning the JC. And in doing so, they are giving a middle finger to the membership. So that awful ruling of the JC needs to, I mean, not the JC. They did have some awful rulings, but we'll take care of that at Reno. The awful ruling of Whitney's never made a ruling I agree with, which is quite an accomplishment. Because I know a lot of terrible chairs, but even a broken clock is right twice a day. I'm waiting for this broken clock to be right once. She's incredible at how bad she is in making rulings. And in saying she's a bad chair, that's not saying she's a bad person. I could have my opinion on her ethics. That's different. That's not what we're talking about. She's just not a good chair. Not everyone is a good chair. It's a certain skill set that not everyone has. It's just like not everyone's a good treasurer or not everyone's a good secretary. It's no shade. It's just we're different. She's a terrible chair. I mean, I could give her all kinds of compliments, and I like to give compliments whenever I give criticism. Let me give some compliments. I bet you Whitney was an incredible school teacher. I know she didn't want to do that anymore, but I could see in her that she probably was an incredible school teacher, and she's a beautiful woman. And she's got some really good fashion sense. I saw her tonight. Oh my God, I'm so in love with the dress she was wearing tonight. It was like this black crepe. It was like very like goth. I loved it. Oh my God, I loved the dress Whitney was wearing tonight. Anyway, so I like to throw out compliments because we should compliment people. Feels good to them and it feels good to you. But she's a terrible chair, no matter how great the dress was she was wearing tonight. So we need to overturn this and not let the LNC think they are kings with the ring of Sauron. We're going to win that easily. I think the JC is going to bitch slap them hard. I think the JC is going to go, what the fuck's wrong with you people? The second one will be the tougher one, but I think we'll win that one too. But it's not a sure thing the way this first one is. But I'd like in one day to get the number of signatures we need. We need about 170. But because some people's memberships may have lapsed or whatever, in order to be safe, we probably need about 225. And I need to get those in one day. There's a bunch of us collecting them. But if you can help, please get in touch with me. I'd like to get them all tomorrow. I'm going to be up all night finishing this appeal. Here's what's funny. I have accomplished more for this party than the LNC has since they've removed me because they said they couldn't do anything with me there. And they've done nothing with me not there. And what have I done? I've been as productive as ever. This is just a fact. This is just plain facts. No one can deny it. The proof's in the pudding. Their pudding is rancid. My pudding is delicious. It's vanilla. I love vanilla. Anyway, so please help if you can. So this LNC, already is the most appealed LNC in the history of this party. They're going to blow that record out of the water. They're going to be appealed 5 times at a minimum by the time Reno comes. Congratulations, you guys. You're great at sucking. Hey, stick with what you're good at, I guess. Little overachievers at underachieving. I feel bad for the good members of the LNC because I use this collective terminology, but as we know, there are some good members. But so I'm asking for your help. If you can help me collect signatures too, I do need your help. If 20 of us collected 20 signatures each, we'd have 200. Easy. I could do 20 in an hour. You probably could too. Please help. If this were you, if you were expelled from your state party after putting in your blood, sweat, and tears for liberty, merely for signing a petition, wouldn't you want someone to stand up for you? And let me be clear, I don't even know the names of all of the 47 people who were expelled. They're not friends of mine. They might be. I don't know. I don't even know who they all are. I know about 5 of them. It doesn't matter. Speaking truth to power also means standing up for the powerless. And right now, these 47 people are powerless. I want someone to stand up for me when I'm powerless. Don't you? So, please assist. This is my passion, helping people where I can, where I have knowledge, where I have power. Lastly, Chris Lucchini. I am not a person who's in favor of removals. Having been the subject of one myself has given me a great distaste for the whole process. However, there does come a time and place when it's necessary, and it's when the person isn't doing their job, not when they hurt your little feels, not when maybe you have a personality conflict, not because they have a YouTube channel, but when they're actually not doing their job. Classic example, treasurer who doesn't file financial reports. He might be the greatest guy in the world. If he's not doing his job, you need to remove him. It's tough, I know, because a lot of times it's your friends. Like I said to Olga in Vermont, they were too nice to Archie. They tried to work with him. They should have just removed him back in October. Hola, and hi, Paul. Chris Lucchini is not a representative. He hasn't represented Colorado at all in the time he's been regional representative. In this vote to sustain the ruling of the chair, he made a pretense after my husband chewed his ass out of asking the state chairs how he should vote. Overwhelmingly, he was told to not sustain the ruling of the chair. And what did he do? He voted to sustain the ruling of the chair. Why did he even bother the pretense of asking? It's a charade. Then he goes and virtue signals on the list and goes, well, my conscience wouldn't let me violate the bylaws. Okay, I can respect that. I used to be Region 1. You want to know what I determined when I was Region 1? That I was to be their representative. And if they ever asked me to do something that I, in good conscience, could not do, I would resign. Because that's what a person with integrity does. Lucchini has no integrity. I can respect his wrong opinion. That I don't believe him, to be honest with you, but let's pretend like we believe him. That he really thought that what his region was asking him to do was violate the bylaws. He should have tendered his resignation. It's 2 months before convention. But I think I'm changing my mind. I think we should ask for his removal. I really do. He's going to be voting now on Massachusetts. He's not representing us. He just flouted without even any kind of apology or explanation and didn't even have the grace to offer his resignation. I think he needs to go. And I can tell you, I don't have much say in Colorado anymore. But whatever influence I do have, Colorado will never, if I have anything to do with it, and I don't have that much power in Colorado, be in a region with New Mexico again as long as he's chair. I don't have anything against New Mexico. It just happens to be where he's chair. In fact, New Mexico is beautiful. I know a lot of great, great people in New Mexico. But no, never again. No, ma'am. Not today, Satan. And I encourage every other Region 1 person who told him to vote a certain way, and he basically gave you the middle finger, refused to sign a regional agreement that has New Mexico on it. Let them go find somebody else to screw over. It's not ultimately my say. It's the board's say. But I will make it very clear to the board how I feel. Now, when I'm done with this appeal, I'm going to be looking at the regional arrangements. I'm going to be making some kinds of recommendations. But in no way do I ever want Chris Lucchini even having a wet dream about representing Colorado, because he doesn't. No. We've been bent over and screwed and just taken it. Because everyone's like, removal. I get it. I had been opposed to his removal. But he just gave us the finger. And I know for a fact Arizona, Washington, Colorado, and Nevada, at least, said, do not vote to sustain the ruling of the chair. The rest of the state chairs ignored him. To be honest with you, I don't want to be in a region with state chairs that aren't participating. So puts us in a really bad situation. I would rather be regionless than have a bad regional representative. I did not care for Francis Went, but Francis Went tried to represent Colorado. I obviously do not care for Richard Longstreth. Richard Longstreth tried to represent Colorado. Chris Lucchini doesn't even try. He doesn't think he has any obligation to. And we're putting up with it. Why? Why? We're supposed to be the ones that are calling the shots here. I'm not on the board. I have no say. I'm just a member. But one thing that any of the chairs who were chairs when I was Region 1 representative will tell you, I fought like a tiger for them. Because that's what your regional representative is supposed to do. And I actually missed that job. I'm a better secretary, I believe. I don't know. I think I was a very good Region 1 representative. I enjoy doing the secretarial work more. But I would do Region 1 again in a heartbeat as well. Because, I don't have children of my own. It's like the states became my children, I fought like a tiger for them. Do you feel like if you're in Region 1 that Chris Lucchini fights like a tiger for you? I don't. So that's what's going on. I'll probably do another update at an ungodly hour tonight. I want to talk a little bit more about the convention attempted con job, but I'm probably going to nap for a little while and then work some more on the appeal because I did promise my client in Massachusetts that I would have a draft for them by tomorrow. But I thank you all for being interested in this material, for caring enough, even if you don't agree with me. The point of these rants is to educate and for you to make up your own mind. Because you're not going to get the full story everywhere. And don't even trust me to be giving you the full story. Investigate for yourself. Okay, I know these kinds of shows that I do on the fly here that have this weird background, they don't have my patrons, I don't do my sponsorships and things like that. When I'm home and I'm at my studio, I'll be doing my sponsorships and things like that. Please do check out the interview I did with the Sober Caucus. As some people have said, they think that's one of the most important interviews I've done, and I agree, but it has some of the least views. I know the drama is exciting, but helping people is more exciting, and they are helping people. So please go check it out and do support their work if you believe in what they're doing. I fronted the super chat today that they got, and I kicked in the fees that PayPal would have taken out. So I sent them $50 today. But I encourage you to do what you can if you believe in what they're doing. Please, though, at least give it a watch and a share. You never know. You sharing that video could save somebody's life because they may need these people. And also earlier today, I did my show on 1360, and I hope you enjoyed that as well. We talked about the slap heard around the world with Will Smith, and I'll probably be up again 3 or 4 in the morning. The Louisiana convention has been great, has been very, very peaceful. Different vibe than everywhere else. Every state is so different, but people here have been so kind. Okay, everyone. Love you. I'll talk to you later.